Welcome back to the San Diego Opera Podcast. I'm Nick Ravelis, your host, and today we're going to further explore The Marriage of Figaro, our upcoming production, with the two ladies in the cast, our Countess, Caitlin Lynch, and our Susanna, Sarah Shafer. Welcome.
Thank you.
You're both debuting here in San Diego for the first time. Have either of you ever been to San Diego before? Is something totally new for you?
I've been to San Diego once before. My husband and I actually did our honeymoon in California.
Ah,
So we started in San Francisco and rented a car, went up to wine country for a bit, and then drove down the coast. And our final stop was San Diego for 3 nights.
and it was the best part.
It actually was. And, we happened upon restaurant week, totally unplanned.
Oh, right.
For our
We
the
just
last.
we just had it.
Did you?
Yeah.
The last 3 nights of our honeymoon. So it was wonderful.
Sweet.
Almost 8 years ago now. Yep. The
Nice.
weather was sublime. We walked to the zoo. It was fantastic.
that's
So this is my
great.
first time back since our honeymoon.
And for you, Sarah?
I've been twice before. The last time I was here to audition, and then before that, my family took a road trip out to California, and we ended up in San Diego when I was 12 years old or something like that. So we did vacation here a long time ago, and I have really fond memories of
The zoo. Everybody remembers the zoo.
and the beach.
And the beach.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. It's a great place to. I've discovered that as I take vacations in other places in the world, why did I leave here for 7 days? It's like, it is great.
Yeah.
And we have, of course, a wonderful opera company that I hope is meeting all your needs, and everything is going smoothly over.
I've had a
the
really
rehearsal.
wonderful experience with the company so far. It's
Good.
been wonderful. Everyone's been
Great.
so wonderful to work with.
Great.
Easy people to deal
Great.
with. Yeah.
Same here.
Glad to hear that. So let's talk about the opera. Musically and dramatically is just one of the richest pieces in the repertoire, as far as I'm concerned. Because as I said yesterday in the podcast with the guys, the Count and Figaro, everything's in the music, right? And the libretto is so good. Lorenzo da Ponte knew what he was doing when he was adapting this play from the Beaumarchais play to an opera, which leaves us with some questions, because it's part of a trio of plays. The first play is The Barber of Seville. Rosina is married to the Count Almaviva at the end of that play, and this is a couple of years later. Rosina is now the Countess Almaviva. What has happened in those intervening couple of years, so that when we see her in this piece at the beginning of Act 2, she's very...
You don't recognize Rosina.
No,
when you first
is she
see her.
melancholy? Is she pining for that better time, that more cheerful, happy, loving time?
Absolutely.
What's
I
happened?
think a lot of the opera she spends wondering what happened, How did she get here? How did the relationship dissolve into what it is right now? I think when we meet the Countess in Act 2 of The Marriage of Figaro, she's depressed. She's really, really in a bad way. And her first aria, Porgi Amor, she reveals to the audience that she would really rather die than not have her husband back close to her like she had him before.
Yeah.
So a lot has happened, obviously, and I think the main thing for her, for the course of this opera, is the relationship, the marriage that has kind of unraveled to what we see now. And that's really mostly the Count's fault. I think that's pretty clear as well. He's been a naughty boy and hasn't been faithful, and that's
The eyes are wandering, yes, after...
more than the eyes are wandering,
Well,
I
yeah,
think,
there
yes.
you go.
So he's
but just
wandering.
after a couple of years of marriage, it's gone sour rather quickly.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
him.
Actually, John said the other day in rehearsal, which I thought was so interesting and revealing, that he's working out things, the Count is working out things that were there before their relationship. So before they even met. And I think that's so true in marriage, We hope that we can come to a relationship with all of our things sorted out and our person completely whole and all of our issues addressed and resolved, But we're really still becoming who we are throughout the course of a marriage, and so many things change. as you become married. And it's like for Rosina, she's becoming the Countess, you know, she has a whole sort of shift.
A different station in life.
Exactly. And that changes everything, and that will change the relationship, that changes the dynamic. She's sort of a public figure in a way that he has been, that's different for her, and she has to make those adjustments, and everything shifts. So I thought that was really insightful of John, and I appreciated that's we're all working on things that we've had from the past. So just because, you know, a new relationship starts doesn't mean you're a different person.
Yeah. Now, Susanna, on the other hand, is a brand new character in this trilogy, the original Beaumarchais trilogy.
Yes.
So we don't have any written past for Susanna.
Yeah.
But I imagine, as an actress and a singer, you've given her a past.
Well, I mean,
who is Susanna?
Yeah, I mean, she's been a servant. She's been a working class person her whole life. So, you know, she comes from a very different background than Rosina, than the Countess does. So she's very much more earthy. She probably, you know, had a dirt floor, and you know, grew up cleaning all the time, and now has kind of risen to this position of lady's maid to a countess, which is the best place she's ever been in her life. And you know, and with getting married to Figaro, it's kind of even is a better thing, like being able to be settled and have a stable situation would be great for her. So we're coming into the Marriage of Figaro on what should be like the best day of her whole life, which ends up being the craziest and you know,
I mean,
sometimes most terrible day of her life.
It all takes place in a 24-hour period. It is your wedding day.
Yeah.
And when you find out that the Count has got his eye on you, your reaction is?
Well, I think that it's been happening for a while. So I think that we come in on the continuation of a situation that's been happening for a while. But what the new situation is that I'm going to tell Figaro about it. And I'm telling him about it on our wedding day because the Count has put our room right next to his room. And Figaro thinks that's a great thing. I think it's a horrible idea because of this ongoing
and he finally
flirtation.
catches on,
and he understands after a little convincing.
There are places in this score where you realize, I think, as a singer, because you've studied your roles obviously very, very deeply, that Mozart is saying something underneath the music. One of the things that I recognize about Mozart is that it's all so beautiful on the surface that it's very easy to glide over what's going on underneath.
We had a big situation with that yesterday, actually.
What happened?
We were staging Sularia, and which is on the surface, you know, one of the most iconic, beautiful duets.
And the duet between the two of you.
That's
actually.
right. That's right. And
Letter duet.
That's right. The letter duet. And it's very placid music, very beautiful, and can be done very surfacey and beautiful on the surface. But we were working yesterday, which was very difficult for me. That's actually the moment where Susanna, like, doesn't want. It's like a horrible moment for Susanna, and she's resisting inwardly what the Countess is having her do, which goes against what the music says on the surface.
Yes.
But I have to find this.
There's something so much deeper.
Yeah.
This dark place.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
In the middle of something that is absolutely, again, on the surface, just gorgeous.
Yeah. And it's very easy to go with the music.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Well, we were talking yesterday about Figaro's aria, which is a beautiful minuet, and everybody knows the tune. But we tend to forget until we're within the context of the drama that it's this horrible awakening moment, and it's laced with irony and anger, and it's a courtly dance, and he's not a courtly guy. So, you know, Mozart does that so often, I think, in this piece, and it's extraordinary. But it must be difficult to bring those moments off, is it?
It really is, and the Countess is the role I've done the most. So I've had experiences with directors who really want the characters to sort of go along with the music in that way, like you would expect of Sularia. If you hear the music, you think smiles. You know, you think sort of something light-hearted and peaceful and lovely. And I've had directors approach the opera in that way, where the Countess is playful with Susanna and sort of enjoying the scheming and the planning and having fun with it all. And what I so appreciate about Stephen Lawless as a director is that he challenges at every turn, I mean at every moment, sort of the easy way to sort of, you say add water and stir, and here's the Marriage of Figaro. That's not what he's about. He's really creating honest, human, complicated characters. And so I've had the privilege of working with him. This is my third production that I've done with him, and every time I grow as an artist, and I find so many more layers to the Countess, and she feels now there's endless layers to her, which I didn't always understand, because I didn't have that challenge from a director.
So terrific to have someone in the driver's seat like that.
Absolutely.
I sat in for about a half hour, 45 minutes yesterday. You were rehearsing the end of Act 2, and the detail. I mean, we would start the music and, a few moments would go by, stop, fix one more thing, go, stop, fix another thing. It was constant starting and stopping, which I imagine if you didn't get a payoff, it could be pretty frustrating. But it seemed to me that everybody was getting a payoff.
Well,
which is
the
great.
cool thing is that when he stops, he's talking to one person or two people, but everyone is working on their own stuff. So every time you get a new chance to repeat a section, we're all like, okay, well, that time this didn't work for me. I'm going to try this time.
Yeah.
So we're all, even if he's not speaking to us particularly, we're all like trying to improve that section on our end with every repetition. So it's helpful for everybody.
Yeah.
For me.
Well, by the end of the half hour, I saw the polish. It was pretty amazing. The growth between the moment I walked in and the time that I left.
And if you come another time and we're doing Act 2 again, it will be different. There will be more. There will be more detail and new layers and
well,
new
that's
things.
the great thing about this piece. In fact, all of our three main stage operas this year, Marriage of Figaro, Rigoletto, and Carmen. They are the pinnacle. They really, there's a reason that these three operas, are done more often than some of the others, because you've got moments like that in all three of those operas, which is terrific.
Stephen said sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but Stephen, just kind of to piggyback on that, Stephen said the other day that Mozart, his music goes at the speed of thought, that Mozart said that about his own music one time, and I just thought that was very smart.
Yeah.
That it's like,
true.
there's so much that can be in 30 seconds of a recit, and it's very rich.
I'm so looking forward to it, and looking forward to talking to Stephen, because I'll be talking to Stephen in 2 or 3 days and doing an interview with him, and I can't wait. I can't wait. What's coming up next for you?
I'm going back to Palm Beach, which is a company I've sung with several times. I have a couple of concerts in Messiah in December, but then my next opera contract is in Palm Beach. I'm doing Donna Anna and Don Giovanni.
Oh, wonderful. More Mozart.
Yes, that's
great.
I spend a lot of time with Mozart, happily.
Oh, yeah.
And then I go from Palm Beach to Japan, where I'll be singing Michaela and Carmen for the second time. This will be my second time in Japan, which is exciting.
And for you, Sarah?
I'm going not far. I'm going up to Los Angeles, to UCLA, to do a chamber piece by Richard Danielpour for strings and horn and soprano. It's called
Exciting.
Talking to Aphrodite.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful.
And then some concerts throughout the rest of the season.
Well, you guys are busy, so I'll let you go. Thank you so much for coming in. We're really looking forward to seeing all of you in action and hearing and seeing. It's so great to have this opera back. It's like an old friend.
It is.
And,
I feel the same way, yeah.
It's just so exciting. So thanks for coming in.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thanks for
having
having us.